guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I probably look familiar right now because I'm in the same outfit as I was in my previous video, which was me testing out the Loreal Infallible 24-hour Fresh Wear Foundation. So if you want to see what my thoughts are on that, because I've got it on right now, then please click in the cards, click in the description, or go back to my previous video on my channel. So today's video is also a L'Oreal review, and it's to go in like side by side with the foundation, and this is the new L'Oreal Paris Infallible More Than Concealer. I'll be testing out two of them, one for highlighting, one concealing, and one for contouring. So if you want to know what my thoughts are on these two concealers, then please keep watching. Right here is the L'Oreal Infallible More Than Concealer. It retails for $9.99 in Superdrug. It is a little bit expensive, I personally think, but it's okay, I suppose. I feel if you was to get like a full face from L'Oreal, you're looking to spend about £30 on these three products, which is a little bit expensive. However, I think at the time when I bought them, and I think because they're new, they've got 10% off, and always if you're a student, you can get even more off on Superdrug. And I think L'Oreal right now, I'm not too sure, are doing it 3 for 2. So I got the contour one for free, and I got the foundation and the concealer with 10% off, and it took me to about £18. So I think L'Oreal's more of the more expensive side in the drugstore, but I think you do get, sometimes you do get good quality makeup from them. It comes with 11 millilitres of product, which I think is pretty decent. The average is around an 8, so you do get more for your money sort of thing. Bearing in mind, like the concealer define is 3 or 4 millilitres for £4, so here you're getting $9.99 for 11, so pretty good. Less than £1 per milliliter. It comes with quite a few shades. I'm not 100% sure on the shade range, but I will put all the details. I'll put a link in my bio. I picked up the shade 327 Cashmere for concealing and 338 Honey for contouring. I definitely feel that Cashmere is probably a highlighting shade, and it was quite difficult ordering online, so I would advise you to go into store to like match your concealer shade, but it's probably fine. So this is definitely more of a highlighting shade, so I'm going to put probably a little bit of honey there just to make sure I just mute it down a little bit. But yeah, I haven't seen any reviews on the, not that I haven't seen any reviews, I've purposely not watched them. I've had a few friends telling me they're not really a fan of it because it's thick and all of that jazz, but I try to not like look into that. If someone says to me, oh, your like this foundation's not very good, or if this foundation's really bad, or this concealer's really bad, I tend to not look into it because their skin is different to mine, my skin is different to yours. So I'm just giving you a review based on what my skin is like, etc., because I think you guys generally enjoy that. So I don't like to, if I haven't tried a product out yet, I don't like to just take in what other people say. If they've tried it continuously and they're just like, it's just not working for me, then yeah, I could probably take that into consideration. I have tried these 2 to 3 times now, so I can give you an overall thought. I know how they work, etc. So let's actually get into the video. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to apply the concealer to the under eyes. I'm actually, with the contour, I'm actually just going to apply it directly to a brush, because when I tried to blend it out with a sponge, and when I tried to blend it out with a brush when it was on my skin already, it was just really pigmented and a little bit hard to blend, but it did blend with a sponge. I think these have got a high pigment in them. I think because this one's a little bit, I'm just giving you a little bit of a disclaimer now, because this is a bit of a highlighting shade for me, it didn't look great on my skin, and once the face was done, it looked okay, I guess, but I think if I got a better shade, which is my own fault, I think the concealer would look better. I think these days this whole highlighting under the eye isn't really my thing anymore. I think more of my actual concealer shades looks better on me, so more of my actual foundation shade, my skin tone shade on my under eyes is probably a little bit better for me, so I tried to not brighten too much, but I'll show you guys anyway. So yeah, I picked up the shade 327 Cashmere, so I'm literally just going to apply this to my under eyes, blend it out, and then we'll go in with contour. This is what the doe foot looks like. It's quite a large doe foot. I think it's a little bit smaller than the Conceal and Define, and it's a little bit smaller than the Shape Tape. I'm not too sure, but it is a big doe foot. The concealer is quite big, which I kind of like. I'm going to give you a little swatch for you, nothing too major, just a little swatch, just so you guys get a colour reference. Shade Cashmere, like I said, it's definitely going to be really light. It has more of a slight neutral pink undertone, I think. I don't know. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking it has got a little bit of peach to it. It's a little bit peachy, which I'm okay with because it will brighten, but I don't want it to brighten too much. But anywho, Okay, so that's literally all I'm putting on. It's not a lot, probably a lot more for you guys because I tend to just go in and swipe, swipe, swipe. But because it's really, really bright for me, it's going to look a little bit messy. So what I am going to take is my beauty blender and I'm literally just going to start buffing this in. I will say it is quite a wet concealer. It's a little bit thicker in consistency. It's not like really watered down or anything. It's a little bit thicker, and I can just tell from looking at it that it has a high pigment in it. But yeah, I'm literally just going to start blending this in. Okay, so you can see I blended in one eye. You can definitely tell it's like way too bright for me, but it's okay, we'll work with it because I'm going to put eyeshadow on and then set this with powder. So it will be okay. But so far, I definitely think the concealer's medium. I don't know what the claims are. It doesn't say whether it's supposed to be a full coverage concealer. Oh, it does. It's supposed to say it's supposed to be a full coverage concealer. I actually think it's more of a medium. I think if it was my foundation skin shade, it would probably cover this vein. But I don't know if you can slightly tell. I have my green little. Should I give a name to this vein? No, I'll just leave it because if I give it attention, it's going to poke out even more. This little green vein that pops out, which I really don't like. So yeah, let me just blend the rest of my concealer in. I have blended in the concealer now. It's definitely, you guys can say it's definitely really, really light for me. It looks okay. It's not the fullest of coverage, but it does look nice. I will say, creases, definitely creases. It's got a creasing element to it. It's really quickly to blend out, but I feel when you do blend it out, you have to like keep blending though. I don't know how to explain it, but it's really easy to blend, but it's hard to move around. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if I'm explaining this well, but it's when you've got it in a certain place, it's really quickly to blend in, but moving it around is quite difficult because it can get a little bit messy. I think that could be due to the fact that I've got a really light shade. So because I want to just get this over and done with, I want to quickly set my under eyes because this is going to be a mess if not. I'm going to take my Huda Beauty powder and set my under eyes. I am now going to go in with the contour, the Backstage Beauty foundation buffer, and I'm just going to buff a little bit of honey onto the brush, just ever so slightly, not loads because this contour shade is really pigmented. It reminds me a bit of the L'Oreal, not L'Oreal, LA Girl concealer, which is really, really pigmented. So yeah, I think as a concealer it's not that great. I think this is like this reminds me a little bit of the LA Girl concealer in terms of, I personally think it's not the greatest for concealing. That's just on my skin because of my under eyes, but it's really, really good as a concealer. So I'm just going to start to just buff this in. It's a little bit too like bronzy for me, but I actually like it because then I can go in with more of a cooler tone powder. So I'm just going to start to buff this into the skin. I will go in with a sponge afterwards just to make sure it's all seamlessly blended in. But sometimes I'll give you a little bit of advice. If your under eyes are a little bit too bright, when you go in with a sponge and you've started to blend in your contour, just go under your under eyes and it will just deepen the under eye up a little bit. So yeah, that's just my personal bit of advice. Don't worry, it looks messy right now, but we will make it work. Okay, so now I'm just going to go in with a sponge, which has still a little bit of the foundation on, and it will just seamlessly blend this into the skin. So the concealer for the contour has blended in pretty nicely. It's given a nice little warmth to the skin, which I am actually kind of liking. It does blend in really, really well. Both the concealers blend in really, really well with everything, especially with the foundation. I'm guessing the L'Oreal foundations are supposed to do well with the L'Oreal concealers anyway, so yeah. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the rest of my face off of camera, come back to you guys and tell you my final thoughts. Okay, so now onto the concealer. I'm back. I finished the rest of my face. On my lips I have the Amore X Shine Amore Cosmetics liquid lipstick in One and Only. On my eyes I have the Sample Beauty palette, and my highlight is the new Sleek Love Shook palette. I like this concealer as a contour. That is just my overall opinion. I think overall, if I give you a close-up, it looks really, really nice. It hasn't creased, which is a good sign, because originally when we put it on it did slightly crease because it needed, definitely needed to be set. It is more of a thicker consistency. Good thing it hasn't like clung to any dry patches. You only get that flaky dry patches on your nose and your forehead. Hasn't clung to that. I do prefer this as a contour. I think just because of the formula, it's more of a creamy contour formula rather than a concealer. I've not tried any other L'Oreal concealers as I'm aware of. I don't know, but this is the first concealer I've tried. I've tried their other foundations, but if you want to see the foundation review, please head over to my previous video. But I do prefer this as a contour. It's not terrible, it's just not something I think I'm going to gravitate towards. I think I would like it better if it was my actual like skin shade, and if I got more of a deeper shade. So maybe next time I'll get a darker shade and like review it on my Instagram and things like that. But I do prefer this concealer as a contour rather than a concealer. It's very much a medium coverage, but for contour it's really pigmented, so it adds that nice warmth and depth to your face. So if you want to shape it, you want to create shadows, like shrink the size of your forehead or do all of that contour jazz, it's definitely good for that. But I think for concealing and hiding away things, probably not that. It doesn't accentuate, it does cover, don't get me wrong, it doesn't crease unless it's not set. But yeah, it feels nice. It goes really well with the foundation, which is good, because products in the same brand should go together. If they don't and they cancel each other out, it's not really a good product for the brand. But it did do well. I think £9.99 is a little bit pricey, but then it's L'Oreal and the foundation is only £1 more. So I don't know, but I think for the concealer it's a little bit pricey. I think you could probably get better ones in the drugstore. That's just me being completely honest. You could probably get more affordable ones in the drugstore, such as the Collection Perfection Concealer. You can get the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define. You can get the Makeup Revolution Fast Base Concealer. You can get the Revolution Pro concealer. You could probably get more. You could probably get loads of drugstore concealers, the NYX concealer, for a lot cheaper and do actually more of a full coverage. So yeah, I think it's okay. I probably wouldn't recommend it to you for a concealer, but if you're saying, oh, what cream contour product would probably be good, then that one. But I think for a concealer, it's probably not my favourite. It's decent, but it's not my favourite. So if I was to say, oh guys, if you was to ask me what concealer I'd go for, probably wouldn't say L'Oreal. So yeah, it's pretty nice, but it's not great. It's not something I'll pick up every day. If I wanted just a natural concealer and I don't want to use up my more expensive ones because I don't want them to like finish, then I would go for my L'Oreal. But yeah, it's not like perfect. So yeah, that's my review on the concealer. If you have any questions or only want to chit chat, please comment in the comment section. I'll be happy to get back to you. Also, please follow my Instagram. I'm always active on there. So yes, and I love all of you. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a massive thumbs up, and I shall see you in my next video. Bye.